Hey tubers, I'm on University of Denver campus here, otherwise known as DU. Thought I'd get out and do some architecture shooting. One of my favorite subjects, although I don't have deep expertise in architecture, I'm interested in it. And considered a career in technical illustration and focusing on architectural illustration. Didn't do that. I write software instead, but it is one of my favorite things. So I like interesting buildings. DU has a mix of old and new buildings. Some of the old looking buildings are probably pretty new. And then there's definitely some more modern stuff like this. One that I believe really is old is this one right here. And I like this building a lot. The building is the Mary Read building, and I believe it's one of the administrative buildings on campus, and my guess is it's one of the older ones. I'll have to study up, so I'm not just BSing you. But anyway, I really like the architecture of it. I'd have to research and see what the style is. The details are just really inspiring. I really enjoy looking at the little details on this building. I've sketched it in the past. I've sketched multiple buildings on this campus, and I've photographed it in the past. I featured this campus in my Like a Monochrome review video because there's just so much to choose from on the campus, photographically or artistically, whether you're into shooting it with a camera or getting out with pen and paper, watercolor, what have you. I've done a little of all of that. So I'm out here today shooting my Arca Swiss, and I believe I'll just focus on more distant shots of buildings on campus. But I really think I'm going to have to come back and maybe do some concentrating on some of the architectural detail I'm noticing now that I'm here again today. It's pretty overcast out here. That's okay. I can deal with that probably better than I could deal with really strong sunshine. The angles I'm likely to shoot at today will probably put the sun kind of facing the camera and me. So hopefully that won't be too big a deal since the cloud cover is pretty heavy. Okay, the camera is set up, as I've been saying in a lot of my videos as of late. You guys can probably guess what I've done with the settings on the camera. In architecture shooting, at least in my limited experience, you're not going to be doing a whole lot of interesting movements other than rise. And that's to get the composition the way you want. If a building is tall, you don't want to tilt the camera back. You want to shift the composition that's appearing on the ground glass to include all of the building. That will keep it from sort of having a vanishing point as you go to the top of the building. So the whole idea is you're moving the part of the image that the lens projects onto the ground glass. You're kind of moving the ground glass with respect to that, or vice versa if you want to think of it the other way. So as I was saying with architectural photography, mostly it's about trying to change your composition to get the tops of the buildings in without tilting the camera. So that's all I have. I have quite a bit of rise here. No shift, no tilt, no swing, nothing else. It's a pretty dull day, really dull day, so I'm going to take an incident metering. That's easy and safe. I played around with a depth of field preview, which on a large format camera means I just put the lens, while I was looking through the ground glass, I just moved the aperture dial until things look like they were in focus, and at that point you can barely see. But that gave me a feeling that probably f32 will get everything that I want to be in focus enough. So here's my incident meter. I'm going to walk a few paces away from the camera. And in incident metering, you point the meter back at the camera. And that's what I'm going to do right now. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but I have about half a second at f32. So I'm just going to go with that. Looks like the lens was already set for a half a second from last time I was out shooting. So all I need to do is get my aperture set to 32 and I'll be just about ready to take this shot. So I'm using the holders app to keep up with what's in my film holders, what I've shot, how I shot it. So I'm just about to pull out my holder that has shots 3 and 4 on it. So I'm going to kind of get ready for this. My aperture I said was 32 and my shutter speed was 1.5, and then I'm going to off screen take notes about the shot itself. But this is how I track what I've done in terms of my exposure and what's on what film holder, because as I've said, I've gone weeks without developing my film, and that's the only way I'll really be able to keep up with what shot is on what sheet of film. So this is film holder 3, sheet 3, however you want to think about it. I'm going to load this into the camera and take the shot. Notice I put the black side of the dark slide facing out after I took the shot. That indicates that this shot is spent. It doesn't really matter how you do it as long as you're consistent so that you know what's happened. So I think this is the most common approach that people take, is the black side means it's exposed. Okay, second shot, essentially same exposure, same setup really. I didn't adjust the rise much at all. No other adjustments other than focus. So this shot's easy. I just walked up, plopped the camera down, leveled the camera, took another reading just to make sure about the exposure, and I'm just going to take it.